Okay, last lesson or session in Unit 5, and it's session 30, and it's titled Composing Sentences and Paragraphs at the Keyboard. And the objectives of lesson 30 are to think and compose at the keyboard, and to choose the correct word form and use of that word in varying circumstances. And third, to compose responses at the phrase, sentence, and paragraph levels. Now, a minute ago, or a video ago, I took one of my responses in a composing exercise and I changed it after I read it again. I was proofreading, and I think my response was because I was late, I was early for next week's meeting, and that I thought, no, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Because the clock was wrong and because I was early is today, right now. So I couldn't put next week's meeting in there. That doesn't make sense. Next week meeting has nothing to do with today. So I changed my wording. I said because the clock was wrong, I was early for today's meeting. That's part of composing, making sure everything is sensible. So at the bottom of page 155 in your textbook, general guidelines for correct word use. During composing, a common problem is choosing the correct word to convey a certain thought or idea to your reader. Writing should be precise. Vague words or misuse of words may produce a meaning other than your intention. The following guidelines help you choose the correct word. Number one, use nouns and descriptive adjectives or adverbs and phrases that have a precise meaning. Be specific when you write. Don't leave things up for guessing because that will create mistakes, errors, and problems. Don't use vague or abstract words such as nice, good, bad, thing, and work because they don't give you much information. They don't give your reader much information. Read each of these examples and notice the differences. Now, the first sentence says, the lecture was good and I learned a lot. Well, okay, fine. Kind of give us some more information. What was the lecture about? Better is to say, the lecture solved two problems for me. I learned how to balance a checkbook and how to calculate interest. Okay, it was good. The lecture was good. It solved a couple problems for you. And you learned a lot? Yeah, you learned two things, how to balance a checkbook and how to calculate interest. Another example, a very short example, is a nice color. Uh-huh. What color and why is it nice? Well, if you rewrote it so that it would give your reader more information, you might say an emerald green or a vivid scarlet or a deep black. That gives the reader a whole lot more idea what you're talking about. The third example for being more specific is he said. That's kind of vague. Really don't know who he is and what it was he said. All right, something better would sound like he shouted defiantly, or he muttered, or he mumbled, or he demanded, or he whispered. Okay, number two rule, use the correct phrase. A correct phrase is, and this is where words are confused by people in the English language. Um, you'll see some things like different from or different than. The correct one is different from. If you have a book that is the same title but it's different from theirs, it's not different than theirs, it's different from theirs. So here are some more examples. Acquitted of is correct, but acquitted from is not correct. Acquitted means that you are not guilty, that you were in court and you were on trial and you were acquitted of robbing the bank. That means you didn't do it. Another example, aim to prove. You don't say aim at proving. The correct version is aim to prove. Can't help feeling. That's the correct version. A lot of us say we can't help but feeling this way because so and so. But when you're correct, when you say it correctly, you say you can't help feeling this way. Comply with something, you don't comply to something. And independent of and independent from. Independent means on its own. So if you have a sentence that's independent, it can stand on its own based on the sentence that's next to it. Okay, it's independent of the next one. It's not independent from the next one. There's some more examples in this category: in search of and in search for. In search of is the proper way to say and write that. And kind of, like, we're kind of tired. What we're saying is we're kind of tired. And some people say kinda, Kinda. And then in another situation, you'd say that cat is a kind of a tiger. So we don't say kind of a tiger, we say kind of tiger. Leave out that extra word. And then the last one is try to. Try to be here on time. You don't say try and be here on time. You say try to be here on time. Third category, use the correct word. And this is sometimes very confusing, but you do have to know definitions of words to make your sentences sensible. Accept, ACCEPT, is different from EXCEPT, accept and accept. Advice with a C and advise with an S, two totally different meanings. Biannual, BIA, annual, BIE, ennial, biannual and biennial. Council with a CIL versus council with an SEL, two totally different words. Fewer and less. You will have fewer errors if you spend more time practicing. You don't have less errors, you have fewer errors. He made fewer errors than his best friend. Less means that you're using that word less with nouns. Well, errors is a noun too, so that doesn't really kind of separate it. We spent less time practicing this week than we did last week because the power was out. We didn't spend fewer time practicing, we spent less time practicing. Good and well. Well generally is used when we're talking about health or an action. I feel well, or he did that job very well. He didn't do it very good, he did it very well. Good modifies. Let's see if there's an example here. Good modifies a noun or a pronoun. So a pronoun. He did that. I can't think of an example right now. We'll go to that later. Another word that is used incorrectly when is angry. And it's not the word angry, it's the preposition that we use with it. When we say angry at, we're angry at something or an animal. If we're angry with in a sentence, then it's we're angry with a person. So, and there's another one here too. Angry about. We're angry at the situation that's involved, an occasion or a situation, something like that. So, angry at things and animals, angry with people, angry about occasions or situations. So, the exercises take into account some of those guidelines. Let's go to lesson 30, click on unit contents and go to exercise 30.4. I'm going to go to session 30 on the left, and we're going to go to 30.4, which is descriptive sentences. Drawing from your experience and observations, think of descriptive words or phrases to make the following 5 sentences more interesting. Key the sentence number in a period, press the tab key, and then key your revised sentence. If your sentence extends beyond the right margin, let it word wrap. At the end of the sentence, press the enter key and continue with the next sentence. That means we're going to rewrite these sentences so that they are more descriptive and more interesting. All right, exercise 30.4. We're going to type a 1 and a period, and we're going to press the tab key. And the sentence is, the last book I read was good. The last book that I read was about a pretty girl in a small town on the East Coast. Okay, the last book I read was good, and it was. but that doesn't tell you anything. So I changed the sentence to the last book that I read was about a pretty girl in a small town on the East Coast. I didn't tell you that she was involved in a murder mystery, but you do know now that what I enjoyed reading was about a small town and a girl that lived there. All right, number two. The sentence is today is a nice day. Whoops, tab key. Today, the sun is out and we are over the tropical storm that occurred last weekend. Okay? That gives you a whole lot more information than today's a nice day. Number three, my favorite sport is fun. My favorite, well, sport is baseball, and I especially like watching it on television. Okay. Four, my favorite color is a nice color. My favorite color is most shades of green. It's kind of short and sweet, but it tells you more than what the example sentence does. And the last one, my best friend is nice. My best friend is a girl I grew up with, and we both have two sons. We, which makes us still have a lot in common. All right. That's my exercise 30.4. Yours can be shorter sentences or longer sentences, but just one sentence per question. Exercise 30.5 is where we have to decide which of those word phrases are the correct based upon the examples that they gave us up above and on the previous page. So 30.5, select the correct phrase in the following sentence and key each sentence using the correct words. All right, we're going to type the 1 and hit the tab key. Do we try to key the data or do we try and key the data? Based on what we read in the previous pages, try to key the data without any errors. Number 2, Juan went in search for or in search of a new printer. Juan went in search. What do you think? Did he go in search for a printer or did he go in search of a printer? It's in search of a new printer. 3, my book is different from or different than Harriet's book. My book is different. What do you think? What did it say in the previous page? It said different from Harriet's book. All right, there are 12 more of those sentences and choices that you are to make. You can use your better judgment or you can refer back to the previous pages and see which answer is the proper answer. Okay, we're finished with that exercise. Exercise 30.6 says compose a complete sentence about each of the following items. Okay, we're given these items, which are the concepts. We are to then go into incubation, which means we have to come up with a complete sentence about that particular concept. Then we have to type that sentence correctly. Complete sentence, proper capitalization, proper grammar, proper punctuation, proper spelling, and that's the production phase. Number 1, the concept is a hybrid car. All right, my sister has a hybrid car, but she doesn't like it. All right, there's my sentence based on the concept. I went through incubation. I thought about what I know about hybrid cars and I typed out a sentence and produced it. Number 2, the concept is ice cream. I especially like frozen yogurt, and My favorite flavor is moose. Whoops, I didn't mean all caps. Tracks. All right. Number 3. The concept is gas station. I haven't been to a real gas station since I was a child. All right, we took a concept, we incubated it, and we produced and composed the complete sentence that is based on the concept. Now, we've gone through words, composing words, we've gone through phrases, we've gone through sentences. On page 158, I'm going to finish this exercise and get it out of view. On page 158, it talks about paragraphs. The fourth stage of building keyboard composition skills is to compose at the keyboard at the paragraph response level. A paragraph is a group of related sentences. It is an organized and meaningful unit in a piece of writing. A paragraph contains a topic sentence, and it contains several supporting sentences. In a well-written paragraph, the sentences are organized in a logical manner and flow from each one to the next. Transitional words are used to connect one sentence to another sentence, and transitional phrases are used to connect one paragraph to another paragraph. We're going to look at the paragraph here in a minute and pick out the transitions. A topic sentence expresses the main idea of a paragraph, and the supporting sentences describe or explain or further develop the topic sentence. Because most readers like to know the subject of a paragraph before reading about it, the topic sentence is usually the first sentence of the paragraph. The following is an example of a paragraph with a topic sentence as the first sentence and supporting sentences following it. And it should have some transitional words and phrases in it, and we'll stop and look at those. Topic sentence. A receptionist who works in a small office has a wide variety of duties. All right, now you can figure out what's going to happen in this paragraph. We're going to learn about the duties of a receptionist. Answering the telephone and receiving callers are primary responsibilities of any receptionist. Sometimes there's a transitional word. Sometimes an employer asks a receptionist to take an important client to lunch or to contact a business customer. The correspondence in a small office varies from simple letters, memos, and emails to complicated reports, and so the receptionist handles many types of communications. Now, there really wasn't a whole lot of transition in there, but we were given the facts that answer the topic sentence of what the duties are of a receptionist. So we're going to, in exercise 30.7, it says compose a paragraph about how you will use your keyboarding skills. Your paragraph should include a topic sentence and at least 3 supporting sentences. All of those sentences need to be punctuated correctly, words spelled correctly. The capitalization should be correct. The first line of the paragraph should be indented. It says start the paragraph by pressing the tab key and allow text in the paragraph to wrap at the ends of the lines and correct any errors that you see that you made. So, the topic sentence is going to be how you will use your keyboarding skills. Are you going to use it for texting? Are you going to use it in your career? Are you going to use it in your personal life? Are you going to use it in all of the above? And tell why you think that keyboarding skills will make your communications better. A paragraph includes a topic sentence and approximately 3 to 4 other sentences that support the topic. So make sure that your paragraph does include a total of 4 to 5 complete sentences. Grammar is important at your level. College sentences should always be complete and correct. And at the end of this lesson, you also have a 3-minute timed writing. Again, one for speed and one for accuracy. Everything I told you in the previous videos still applies. On the accuracy timed writing, you will be graded both for accuracy and speed. So you should have 25 words a minute on the accuracy timed writing. And your speed timed writing must have at least 25 words a minute on it, but your accuracy will not be counted on the speed version of the timed writing. questions on anything, just send me an email if we're not going to be in class soon, or wait till class and I will answer your question there. Do your best work.